Hi guys! Today we're going to talk about language and communication. So first we'll look at what is language, then different types of language and who can use it. Then we'll look at the language of animals. So humans are an animal, and then the other animals that we'll look at are dolphins, honeybees, dogs, cats and chimpanzees. Hope you enjoy! So first I'd like to look at what is communication. The Oxford Dictionary says that it's the imparting or exchanging of information, which means the sharing of information by speaking, writing, or using some other medium, some other type of way of speaking, or way of communicating, like speaking, writing, sign language, body language, are some that I can think of. So there are different types of communication. We have speaking, writing, and sign language. Those are some that I can think of, and these are used by humans. Facial expressions, on the other hand, are often used by animals, and some animals use body language as well. Actually, all animals use body language, and that's the part that we're going to focus on mostly today. We're going to look at different animals who use body language to communicate with each other and sometimes with humans. So I want to talk to you about how humans learn to communicate. Every baby, when they're starting to learn to speak in every language, learns how to say mum or dad. So the word for mum in most languages starts with M. This is not because all languages are related. This is actually because when a baby is first learning to make sound, one of the first sounds they make is ah, ah. When they put their lips together and they experiment, they make So mum. If you turn that around, it becomes mama, mama. And usually the mother is the person who is the closest to the baby, so it's the parents that choose that word to mean mother. It's the same for the word for dad or father or papa. In most languages it starts with P or D. So P, like the letter M, is formed by putting your lips together. But you don't use your voice, you just use your lips, and it's called an aspirated consonant. So ma, pa, similar to mama, papa, papa, or dada if you use your tongue to make a D sound. Animals also communicate. So here I've got some cute little pictures of a dolphin, a little pussycat, a dog, a honeybee, and a chimpanzee. Dolphins have a very sophisticated way of communicating with each other. They use sounds. They also make physical contact with each other, and they use body language. So when they're making sounds, they use high-pitched clicking sounds and also whistles. So each dolphin has a different sound. So if the dolphins are swimming together as a family or with a group, if one dolphin gets lost or disappears, the mother always knows which dolphin is there because she recognizes her child's voice. They also use body language to show things like nearby predators, other animals that want to eat them or want to kill them. They can also let other dolphins know if they have found food, and it shows them, they can also use sound and body language to show if they're attracted to each other, so if they want to mate or have children. Dolphins also use body language to communicate. Spy hopping is when they come just above the water and look around to see if there are predators. other animals or other species in the water who want to attack them. Tail and flipper slapping, which is when they use their tail to slap against the water, is to show aggression, to show that they're angry, or it can be to play. Bumping and physical contact is the same. If one dolphin bumps into another dolphin or pushes their body against another dolphin's, sometimes it's to show aggression or to be angry, and other times it's because they want to play with another dolphin, similar to humans. Jumping, this can also be to play when they swim and then jump out of the water and back into the water. But it can also be to save energy, because it takes a lot of energy for dolphins to swim through the water, but a lot less energy to swim and then jump to go a further distance. The side flop, when they jump out of the water and land on their side, means let's go, or I want to go. And a different one, the upside down lobtail, is when they turn over and they swim on their back and they use their tail to hit the water up and down. This means, and usually they do it with a big group of dolphins, which is called a pod of dolphins. This means let's stop. Honeybees have a very advanced way of communicating. They live in a hive. So a big group of bees lives in the hive. A hive is the name of the bee's house. And we also call this a beehive. Every hive has a queen. She is the boss or the mother of all the other bees. In spring, the workers, all the other bees, they collect nectar. This is like flower juice, and pollen, which is the yellow powder that's in the middle of the flower. They come back to the hive to tell the other bees where the food is, and they make a series of movements. This is called the waggle dance. To waggle means to shake from side to side. So the bees waggle their abdomen, which for humans is in your tummy, in your stomach, but for bees it's their tail. So they shake their tail from side to side. But this waggle is very complex. The distance of the waggle shows the other bees the distance of the food. And this food can be from as little as 150 meters right up to 6 kilometers away. The angle of the waggle in relation to the sun shows the direction of the food. So a couple of interesting facts about bees. If you regularly eat local honey, you will develop an immunity against allergies to the local plants. So while you're in New Zealand, it's a good idea to eat local, natural honey, and this will prevent you from getting hay fever in the summer. I'm not sure if it works, but that's what my beekeeper friend tells me. And he also told me that a hive of bees is like a single being. It's like a collective. So if one bee dies, all the other bees know this has happened. They know this because they can kind of feel each other's energy. I thought that was really, really fascinating. Everyone who has a dog knows that dogs use body language to communicate with them. So these are some things that dogs use their bodies for to communicate with their owners, with their human owners. So they often use their face. Dogs will wrinkle or straighten their foreheads to show that they're confused, but this can also show that they're determined, that they want something. Their eyes are also something that changes. So when a dog sees another animal and he thinks that animal looks friendly and he wants to play, his eyes will brighten, he'll open them wide. But if the dog sees another animal and he is afraid of that animal, his pupils will dilate. The pupils are the small black dots in the middle of your eyes. So his pupils will get bigger and he'll show the white part of his eyes, the whites of his eyes. Dogs also use their whole mouth to communicate with their owners. So they'll use their lips, their teeth, and their tongue. So if your dog is happy and he wants to play, he may pull his lips back and show his teeth. And it might look like a smile, but this is a gesture that's only for humans. A dog does not usually do this with other dogs. Also with their ears. If a dog's ears are raised, if they're sitting up, it means he's relaxed or he's listening. If they're back against his head, he might be showing that he's submissive. Dogs use their tails to show a lot of emotion. So the way a dog wags its tail, and to wag is to move, the way a dog wags its tail shows how he feels. So if the tail wags more to the right, it shows positive feelings. If it wags more to the left, it shows negative feelings. If the dog is relaxed, the tail will be low and wagging slowly. If your dog is nervous, he will tuck his tail right underneath his legs, underneath his body. If he's angry, the tail will be stiff and upright. It will stand up and it will stay still. It won't move. One interesting fact about boxers are a type of dog. They don't have a tail. And they're called boxers because if you don't know what a boxer is a person who fights with their hands. So Muhammad Ali was a famous boxer. So this type of dog is called a boxer because it doesn't have a tail, so it can't communicate with its tail. It uses its front legs and front paws. Paws is the name for hands for a dog. Uses its front paws to communicate with other dogs. So it uses its paws to hit other dogs, to play with other dogs, and when it does this, it stands up on its hind legs, on its back legs, so it looks just like a boxer. Dogs use sounds and use their voice to communicate, so they make growls and barks. So a growl is a sort of low grumbling sound like rrr, and a bark is a sharp, hard sound. Arr! They all mean something. So a low growl, if dogs are talking to each other, a low growl can be aggressive or it can be informative. So if a dog is not sure about a situation, it will growl to tell the other dog about it. It's similar to humans. If you have a parent in the supermarket and the child is being naughty, the parent will say, "Hey, stop it." Same thing with a dog. A dog will tell its child off by growling or barking. Barks can also be to show excitement. It can be used for long distance communication or close distance communication. So a bark can mean hello, it can mean stay away, it can show that a dog is anxious. And there are different tones that mean different things. Dogs understand each other's barks and they also understand context. Dogs also use body language to give messages to other dogs and to humans. So if a dog sees another dog that it feels uncomfortable with, or if it's in a situation where it feels uncomfortable, its hair will stand up. And this is to make them look bigger so they feel stronger. The adrenaline pumping through their system makes their hair stand up. It's similar to humans. When we are in a creepy situation where we feel a little bit uncomfortable, the hair on our arms stands up. It's the body readying itself for fight or flight. And because, so fight or flight is when you're ready to fight or ready to escape. Because a dog is a predatory animal, it usually chooses to fight. Cats have a really interesting set of signals and body languages that they use. So your cat will speak with its whole body. So if you have a cat, does it arch its back up to meet your hand when you pat them? So when you go to touch your cat, so to touch a cat is to pat it. So when you touch your cat, does it come up and meet your hand, or does it pull away? If it meets your hand, it means they're enjoying this contact with you. If it pulls away, it's probably better if you stop and come back later. They're not interested now. Pay special attention to your cat's eyes, ears, body, and tail. They are all telling you a story. So here are some basic clues or some basic rules. Some of them are a little bit confusing, but you'll see why. So with their ears, if their ears are forward and alert, it means they're interested or they're happy. If a cat's ears are backwards or sideways or sitting flat, a little bit like the wings of an aeroplane, it means they're irritable, angry, or frightened. If their ears are swiveling, turning around, it means they're attentive and listening to every little sound. Their eyes show us things too. So their pupils, if their pupils, remember that's the little black part of your eye, if their pupils are constricted, if they're small, it means they're aggressive, but possibly it might mean that they're happy. If their pupils are dilated, if they're big, it means that they're nervous or submissive. They've decided that you are the boss. It could also possibly mean that they are aggressive, but also possibly playful. So like I said, some of these ideas are a little bit contradictory, a little bit confusing. So cats are not easy to read. Their tails, if their tail is standing up and if the fur, the cat hair is called fur, if their fur is flat, it means they are alert or inquisitive or happy. But if the fur is standing on end, it possibly could indicate that they are angry or frightened. If they hold their tail very low between their legs, same as a dog, it means they're insecure or anxious or feeling a little bit nervous. If their tail is swinging back and forth, this is different to a dog. It might mean that they're agitated or annoyed. And the faster the tail, the angrier the cat. So if you see a cat waving its tail fast, do not touch the cat. If the tail is straight up, but it's quivering, which means moving just a little bit, like shaking, it means they're really happy, really excited. With their bodies, if their back is arched and their fur is standing on end, it means they're really frightened, they're really scared. You might think it means they're angry, but no, it means they're frightened. If their back is arched but the fur is flat, then they want you to touch them. If they're lying on their back and they're purring, purring is that soft sound, like a little bit like snoring that cats make, it means they're very relaxed. Chimpanzees have in some ways, a similar way of communicating as humans, but in lots of ways, in most ways, it's still very animal. So they use a lot of grunts, barks, and pant hoots. A bark is like a dog, a grunt is like a low, tough sound, and a pant-hoot is a call. And these alert other chimpanzees to where the food is. So a special intense combination of all these types of calls shows that a group has been hunting and they've been successful. It means they have killed another animal. If they make a loud, long rah call, this is when a chimpanzee has found something unusual or something really dangerous. Each individual chimpanzee has its own distinctive pant-hoot call, so that the others can identify which chimpanzee is calling. Now, the grin of fear, when we see an animal smile, we think they're happy. But with chimpanzees, when they're grinning, it often means that they're scared, that they're fearful. And this is actually similar to humans. Quite often we grin or we smile because we're feeling awkward or we're feeling a little bit uncomfortable or stressed. Often we smile. If a chimpanzee is angry, he will probably stand up, swagger, wave his arms, throw branches and rocks, and his hair will stand on end. It'll stand up, and he'll scream. But male chimpanzees show that they are dominant by slapping their hands or clapping their hands, stomping their feet, dragging branches while they run, and throwing rocks. While they do this, it's to make them look as big and dangerous as possible. So if another chimpanzee wants to attack them, they will do all of these behaviors to show that they are the dominant one and that the other chimpanzee cannot win. So that's it for this lecture. Thanks for listening, and I hope you learnt some interesting animal facts, facts about how animals communicate, and that you enjoyed it. Bye!